G'day there guys, it's your main man Markee, and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the Asshole. Hope you enjoy it, sit back, relax, chuck a prawn of the Barbie, smack that like button, all that good stuff. Let's get into it. Am I the asshole for refusing to see my dad even though he is really sick? So I am 2 years older than my brother. When I was about to go to college, they said they didn't have the money and it massively screwed up my plans because they have a high income, so I can't get aid and scholarships. I moved out and I started working because I wanted to save up before going to college. I started college the same year as my brother did. I always assumed my brother was loading up on debt by going to a really expensive private school. I saw a story that he posted bragging about having his schooling paid by our parents. I texted him, and he said he was just bragging online. But I asked Mum, and she's not a good liar, and she fessed up that they were paying for it. It still makes me really fudging angry. I have better grades, I have a better application, but all of that doesn't matter. Nothing I ever do frickin' matters. I've not visited home since that day. I worked so hard for my grades. I just don't understand why they don't care. I did all the right things and they still care more about my brother. My dad is sick. He has cancer. It is pretty bad. My mum is begging me to come back and see him. He is upset too. My brother called me and yelled at me for being a horrible daughter who is a greedy bee. I am worried sick for him, but I can't push myself through visiting him. I am just barely holding on emotionally, but I know they need my support, but I'm being a huge asshole by not doing it. Now in the comments, not the asshole. Your parents treated you as if you were lesser than your brother. You have no obligation to see your dad. I agree, but OP seems like a compassionate person, and not seeing her dad may be something that haunts her down the line. OP, you are not the asshole whatever you decide, but really think about the long-term impact on you. Possibly there is a half measure of sending your dad care packages and cards, but not engaging fully so that you don't get conned into becoming a main caregiver or offering blanket forgiveness that you are not ready to give. Then you can look back with fewer regrets since you showed compassion and kindness. This is a really compelling argument. OP is not the asshole by any stretch of the imagination, but I also feel that specially avoiding their father, in this cancer-related situation, could have psychological implications down the line. I recommend attending a therapy session before deciding fully. Best of luck. Definitely. I think OP is so stressed and worried about her family's reactions to her absence that she doesn't realize it might be good for her to examine if she wants to visit her dad alone and talk to him. OP should consider removing her brother and mother from the equation and thinking only about this. Would it be positive for me to see him? Do I want to see him for some kind of closure? Are there things that I want to say or ask my father before it's too late to ever do so again? These are what matters. Block out everything else. Not the asshole, don't want to say it, but maybe sexism. That was my first thought too. So damn frustrating, even as I grow older, to still deal with the same antiquated implicit sexism. One day we'll be better off, I hope. Not the asshole. What your father is experiencing is the consequence of his own lies and favoritism. That family is toxic, and your brother is downright abusive. Greedy? That's first-rate psychological projection there. Do what's best for your mental health. You might want to check out the sub r/estranged adult child. And regarding the Redditors who think that you'll be racked with regret later, the red flags are all over this. OP will be likely subjected to more verbal and emotional abuse if she goes. And another thought, these relatives may be trying to hit up OP for free labor. Nothing in the description says he's on his deathbed. If the doctors decided he had 6 months to live, then he would qualify for hospice assistance. Right now, he is just pretty sick, which can mean they want help with bedpans, bathing, rides to medical appointments, etc., and they don't want to pay a professional. Maybe because daughters don't deserve an education, but it's a daughter's duty to pitch in when the parent's health fails. Those two outdated beliefs often go together. Yeah, it's annoying me how everyone is saying that OP will be racked with guilt. Seeing dad again is likely to reopen old wounds, costing OP any progress that she's made towards healing. From the sounds of these people, it's also likely they'll use contact as another opportunity to hurt and attack OP. It's what selfish people do when they want to deflect from their own bad behavior. You are never the victim, they are. Once you take all of this into account, which is really worse for OP's mental and emotional health? I say she should stay away for her own sake and peace of mind. And now on to the update. So I really needed all those comments. It helped me think through my feelings. I knew I wanted to go see him. He is my dad and I love him. I would never forgive myself if I didn't. I visited 2 days ago. I didn't bring up the tuition because I didn't want to start a fight. I talked to Dad. I really missed the conversation we used to have. He was very happy to see me, and he told me he would set things right with the will. That made me cry. I don't want him to die. We had lunch together, and Mum was insisting that I stay with them to help with Dad. I saw people comment about it, and I really didn't think my parents would bring that up, but they did, and it hurt a lot. I refused, and Mum got a bit angry with me. I ended up leaving soon after. I have really tried to please them. I followed every single rule they had, I didn't put a toe out of line, and they always loved my brother more, even though he was a rule breaker, and I hoped that by being the perfect daughter, I would, be loved a bit more. I guess that isn't how it works. I'm not going back. It hurt to go back, but I know my parents love me, but they love my brother more. I think it made me realize staying away from them is the right thing to do. I will really miss them. People trashed my brother a lot, but he has his moments and he can be really sweet, kind, and gentle too. I really love my family, but if I do spend time with them, I will just be hurting myself. And now in the comments, it's okay to have many and conflicting emotions. I'm glad you went, and that it seems to have been an overall good choice for you. Very sorry about the pain, and it's okay to set boundaries. If you would like a digital hug, I'm here, and I'm wishing you well. It's so good that you were able to visit him for your own healing, and that you stuck to your boundaries. It's a hard thing to do. Sorry that there isn't a happier resolution, but removing people who don't value you is a good thing. I expect exactly nothing to be solved in the will, and find it sad that they think it's about money in the end, instead of the exhausted narrative of neglecting the more stable child in favor of the troublemaker golden child. I am willing to bet that all this talk about the will was just to get OP to stay and help out. Many manipulative folks have pulled that trick. So, do they expect you to quit school and your job to be their nursemaid? Are they going to pay your loans and debts when they start coming in because you are no longer an active student? Especially when they have the means to pay for all of the brother's private school tuition and living expenses. Frankly, if your parents need another pair of hands to help with your dad during his illness, then maybe it's your brother's turn to sacrifice. He can take a gap year, and they can use that money to hire a caretaker. Your brother can get a loan or get a job to pay for his school this year, and your mum can get a job and pay for things that way. You have a whole life you are taking care of because they can't be bothered to help. Even if you do keep in contact with your parents and brother, be very firm in your boundaries. They are not allowed to bring up you sacrificing your life because they don't want to give up theirs. Use timeouts, grey rocking, and the old no as a complete sentence. Good luck, OP, and maybe look into your school's therapy options if they offer it, so you have a way to manage and work through your feelings in the coming months and years. And our next post is titled, Am I the Asshole for Finally Getting Frustrated While Trying to Care for My Sick Grandpa? So my 87, soon-to-be 88 grandpa was recently diagnosed with cancer. But because I am in a college for medical assistant and soon trying for a nursing college program, I've been shoved onto the role of sole caregiver for the most part. I do almost everything for him. I give him his medicines, putting his oxygen tube on him, adjusting the bed given to him by hospice, calling nurses, translating for the hospice people that come to check in on him, checking on him daily, and taking note what he's taking and at what time and the date. I'm frustrated because my family has been pulling me in every single direction to do everything. It doesn't help that for a whole week now, they've been waking me up despite me being awake late because I want to be available a few hours after they sleep, plus once they do sleep, I have free time to do what I want to do. My aunt especially has been having me as her errand dog for the most part, so she can be selfish about the whole situation. From what I can tell, she wants to get credit for being a good daughter who cares for him. She has been driving me up the wall from the time he was in the hospital on the last day before getting to come home from hospice. I had to call the hospital 6 times because she was saying things were wrong. It was to the point the nurses were scared of me, and that alone makes me feel terrible. Just today, she called me 4 times while I was busy with trying to scan a document to send to my older sister, because she, my aunt, wants me to email a copy of my grandpa's diagnosis so my grandpa's brother can come see him. To clarify, my family is from Mexico, and my grandparents began to live here right before COVID started. At first to visit, but ended up stuck here because of the pandemic, so they have ended up just staying. At the same time of me trying to fax this document to my sister, I asked my dad for help, and my mum was trying to pull me away to help with the oxygen tank because it wasn't working, and I couldn't figure out how to fix it. I would have to call the hospice to send someone. I finally had enough of being yanked around and got frustrated and let it out in a small puff of an angry sigh, and I was immediately yelled at and told I shouldn't be upset, that I'm not even doing a lot, so I shouldn't complain. And this led to an argument between us, which I then just left to my room, upset, after explaining to them that I've been yanked around and I'm tired of it. Now both my parents are upset with me and think that I'm being an asshole. My father is being petty, asked if I fed the dogs, which had completely slipped my mind, being so busy today since I was running around today. But despite me telling him this, he basically forced me to do the task despite me still being busy with the documents, even though he could do it. So I'm just wondering, am I the asshole for finally having enough of being an errand dog and just trying to care for my grandpa who is sick? And now in the comments, not the asshole. Set some boundaries and enforce them. Your family will be upset, but they will get over it once it becomes a habit. Do not justify, apologize, demand, or explain when you set and enforce boundaries. Simply state the boundary. For example, no, aunt, I'm not running errands. I hope the traffic is good while you're out. Aunt pushes back with guilt trips, insults, whatever. You respond, I am not running errands, but we can talk later when you are feeling better. And then leave, even if it's to take a walk around the block or hide where she can't find you. You are not the asshole at all. You're actually pretty amazing. I would type and print a Word document of things that he needs done daily, one for morning and one for night, like a checklist. That way when you are busy or have errands, school, job, or need respite care, someone else can ensure that he is safe and comfortable and you won't have to feel guilty. I would educate your aunt, as she is obviously frustrating, and parents on what you are doing so they are more confident in their own skills. It sounds like everyone is leaning on you for one reason or another, but you need to remember to take care of yourself. The passive-aggressive actions of your parents when you let out a sigh of frustration shows me that they are insanely out of touch with the level of care your grandpa needs and the monstrous amount of power work that you must be trying to figure out during this exhausting time. And you are amazing to translate for the hospice workers, but as someone who has worked in nursing homes, hospitals, rehab facilities, and home health settings, translators are usually few and far between. Many home health companies require you to use professional phone services to make sure that nothing is missed, as I have even used Google Translate in a pinch, although every single setting I've worked in prefers use of the professional services they offer. I think you are a really good person trying to do multiple difficult tasks. Positive thoughts for you. And OP replies to that, thank you for the advice. The hospice luckily lets me translate if there was none. They have a number to a system that will connect them to one, and I will most definitely try doing a checklist. Thank you. Not the asshole. Sounds like your grandfather needs professional help. You are exhausted and have caregiver fatigue. Contact your grandfather's primary care doctor and ask them if they know a local organization or government program that can help you. And OP replies, thank you for the advice, but sadly, since our home is at full capacity, we can't take the offered live-in nurse, so one just comes 2 days a week. And now onto the update. I would like to start by thanking everyone on the original post for their advice on what to do. I thought I should let you guys know some updates on the situation. Sadly, with a heavy heart, I would like to inform you that my grandpa passed away on August 21st, 2021. He died late in the afternoon while walking from the bathroom and was lowered to the ground where he passed peacefully. His funeral has come and gone and his ashes have been brought home. Now onto the update. I set boundaries as everyone said I should, and of course that brought issues, but they are now cleared. One thing is no one was happy with my aunt. Well, I would like to let everyone know that she has now turned his death into all about her. She has been saying that her sons did everything for him and even carried him to places when he couldn't walk, which is a lie. My cousins had not seen him at all the whole year that my grandparents were here in the US till his birthday, and the other on the day that he died. Mind you, not even to see him or help, just to comfort my aunt who came over upon the news. But she has been saying she did so much for him, how she is just so great. She had my uncle who doesn't like my grandparents bring flowers to my grandma so they look better. He clearly looked uncomfortable in the whole 3 minutes he was there to give them to her. My family has been very understanding with me, luckily, and I haven't been pushed around. I do want to mention, since people seem to think that I was much older by their comment, I'm a 19-year-old female. Crazy, I know, but I just want to thank you all so much for the helpful comments. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Our next post is titled, Am I the asshole for refusing to accept a present my fiance's mother wanted to give me? So my 36 female fiance David, 34 male, and I have been together for about 6 years now. His family is very wealthy. Although I'm very successful and a high earner, my fiance works for his family's business and makes more than I do. I never wanted to be perceived as a gold digger, which is why I try to keep my expenses strictly separate from his. I pay for my half of everything, and if he ever gets me a gift, I make sure I get him something of equal value. David has often insisted on treating me, but I always refuse. I really don't feel comfortable letting other people pay for me. My fiancé has learned to respect this. After we get married, we will split all household expenses on a 50-50 basis. Our wedding is in October. His parents insisted on paying for a grand wedding for us, but David and I convinced them that we would rather pay for it ourselves. The other day, David's mum showed me a diamond and sapphire necklace and earring set that she had kept for David's future wife. She said she wanted me to have it, and preferably wear it on our wedding day. I felt very uncomfortable with this. I never accept any presents that I can't afford on my own. I told her I was flattered, but that I can't accept something so expensive. I told her I won't be able to give her something equally expensive in return, and I'm not okay with that. She said she didn't want anything from me, and that David's sister-in-law had also been given similar jewelry when she married his brother. I told her I understand it's their tradition, but I can't compromise on my principles. She said, okay, fine, but I could tell she was unhappy. Later on, David told me that I should have just accepted the jewelry because it would make his mum happy and because I'm a part of the family now. I explained to him that 1, no, I'm not really a part of his family, not the way that he is, and 2, being part of the family doesn't mean that I'm going to mooch off of them. He told me I should compromise and at least wear the set on the wedding day. I refused again, as for my wedding, I would rather wear jewelry that I have bought with my own money. David said he understood and will speak to his mother. However, David's sister-in-law called me this morning and told me his mum is still upset and that I should just accept the gift and that I'm going too far with the independence thing. I have a feeling that David's mum is the one who put her up to this. I do want to know what Reddit thinks. Are they right? Am I going too far with this, or are they crossing the line? Am I the asshole? Now in the comments, you're the asshole. For your scorekeeping and rigidly transactional relationship with money. It's understandable not to want to appear to be a gold digger, but marriage is a partnership, and sometimes you have to pick up the slack for your partner. What would happen if you or your husband were unable to pay exactly 50% of the bills? Would you divorce? Why would you assume that you would owe your future mother-in-law for a wedding gift? It's to welcome you to their family and give you something that could be passed down to your kids. It was very hurtful to refuse a gift from your future mother-in-law. You could have worn it once and then put it in a safe deposit box. I'm so torn on this. I absolutely get OP. She is proud of herself, her earnings, making her way in life not depending on anyone but herself monetarily, but at the same time, her future mother-in-law thought this would be a welcome to the family type gesture. It was her way of saying, you are one of us, and OP told her no. I can see how that would be devastating. I think the major difference is that OP viewed this jewelry in its monetary value, while future mother-in-law viewed it in its sentimental value. I personally lean towards mother-in-law. It may be expensive jewelry. The meaning behind it, though, is, this is a part of our family. Now that you are part of the family, it is yours too. I'm not sure how to judge this. You're the asshole. And this is a very unhealthy way to live life, where you are constantly going, is everything 50-50? You have hurt your future mother-in-law that wanted to show you love and acceptance. You're the asshole. Receiving is an art. Do it graciously. I feel like you're the asshole. You don't have to accept charity or anything like that. I completely understand your mindset. Question: did the future in-laws buy this jewelry just for you, or is it a keepsake in some way? Worst case, they bought it specifically for you, and as long as there's no strings attached, they wanted to give you an official acceptance to the family that you could also pass down on the generations as an heirloom to your daughters or daughters-in-law. And edit, also, what if they were artistically inclined and hand-painted a mural for you? Would you refuse it because you can't paint an equally beautiful mural? They are giving you love and acceptance, not something they think you could sell off for a lot of money. And OP replies to that, not specifically for me. David's mum had various sets made for their daughters and future daughters-in-law. And someone replies to that, yeah, I think you were taking this way too personally and ironically being selfish. The gift is about the unity of families, not monetary value. If you value them as members of your joint family, it would be rude to not accept it in my opinion. And now on to the update. So I posted this weeks earlier, and now I'm back with an update. I read all of your comments and advice about not thinking of gift giving as strictly transactional, and would like to thank you for your help and your honesty. Anyway, my partner David and I just got married 3 days ago. After posting about the necklace incident, and after seriously considering all of your comments, I decided to speak to his mum. The next time we met in person, I sat down with her and told her I was sorry if I had hurt her feelings. I told her that I was honored to know that she considers me a part of her family. My mother-in-law took my hand in hers and told me that she respects me a lot for being so independent. She said one of the reasons she is so sure that her son made the right choice is because it's clear that I'm not with him for his money. She said she was proud of me for all that I've accomplished and the hardships that I've had to overcome. She also said that it's okay to accept gifts from those who love you. I nodded. I had never really had a heart-to-heart with her before. Up until this point, our interactions had always been very formal. I never really knew that she felt any affection for me. I didn't know how to react. She then gently asked me why I was always so distant, why I still felt like I needed to prove that I'm not after anyone's money. She told me I didn't have to, that everyone already knew that I'm more than capable of pulling my own weight, paying my own bills, etc., and that it was time for me to relax and let my guard down a little. I was tongue-tied, as I usually get with emotional conversations. I thought about telling her all about my childhood, my traumas, etc., but I didn't, as I did not want to burden her. I haven't even told David. As it was time for me to leave, we hugged awkwardly, and for the first time. I just nodded. If I had spoken, I might have cried. A few days after that, my mother-in-law came over again, and she brought with her the necklace and earrings that I had refused to accept. She offered it to me again. I still didn't want to accept it, but I also didn't want to reject it again. I was just trying to figure out what to do. I must have looked stressed because my mother-in-law told me that I didn't have to give myself a headache over it. She said it good-naturedly, with a laugh. She then asked if I would like to just wear the earrings to the wedding along with my own necklace that I had bought for the occasion. I was so relieved. I excitedly said yes, I love that idea, and I thanked her. She had taken a huge weight off of my shoulders. Later that day, David told me his mum was very happy that we could work things out. The wedding was beautiful. It was a quiet, intimate affair with lots of fun and laughter. I still haven't worked out all my issues, but I'll continue to try. Once again, thanks so much for your help. And now in the comments, so happy it worked out for you. I would recommend opening up to your husband about your traumas. You will end up growing closer. You may also want to start therapy. It will help you with your traumas. And OP replies, I'm considering it. The thing is, after a lifetime of bottling up, you don't really know how to open up, but I will try. Thanks. Talking to a therapist will help you develop the skills and find the words to be able to share. It might take a while to find the right person, so don't give up if the first few times don't work out for you. After a few sessions, you could also ask your therapist for a joint session with your husband so your therapist can help you talk about your trauma and support your husband if it's something that he may find very distressing. The right support will help make this a less stressful experience. Congratulations, but please, for the love of God, see a therapist if you haven't already. It sounds like you were incredibly distraught and causing others distress over your mother-in-law trying to do something incredibly sweet for you. I promise you were 10,000% overthinking the situation. I completely relate. You have had the good fortune to marry into a family that genuinely seems to care for you, as others have stated. If you have kids, you must get used to the fact that your in-laws will probably want to buy your kids nice stuff. Please, 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 see a therapist about your emotional connection to money before kids get on the scene. And OP replies, my husband and I have agreed not to have kids as neither of us want any, but I will see a therapist soon. From one independent woman with a dramatic childhood to another, you have proven you can take care of yourself. No matter what happens, you can stand, walk, or run on your own 2 feet. You know that. It is okay to let someone else take care of you. You will not be giving up your independence or ability to take care of yourself. That learned and earned experience of knowing how to take care of yourself doesn't get taken away because you choose to lean on your partner. My advice is to fold up that steel wall around your heart and fold it up like the safety net it is and tuck it away for now. You might need it in the future, hopefully not, but you definitely do not need it now. Alrighty tidy gang, that is going to be it for today's episode. Hope you enjoyed this one, hope you enjoyed my reading. Sometimes I see comments where I've definitely misread things, mispronounced things. Just wanted to add some commentary on that. I don't know, my brain doesn't see words right sometimes. And I'm sure it happens more often than I'm aware of it, and I do fix myself when I catch myself doing that. But know that I'm not genuinely and actively trying to pronounce things wrong and read things wrong. Obviously that's a minority thing. I see like 2 comments a month maybe, out of hundreds of comments from you guys, and I love all of you immensely. But really, I can't expect perfection from myself. I am literally just a chunk of gelatinous meat in my head floating around, powered by electricity. I wouldn't expect that thing to read everything perfectly, in all honesty. I love that you guys accept me for my flaws and who I am, and I love all of you guys unconditionally. With that said, I hope you have a good day, night, sleep, or whatever you were up to, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.